Do you have third eye? In many cultures and traditions, this is regarded as seat of spirit or soul. दो आंखें तो देखी हैं आपने, आपको पता है दो आंखों के बारे में. क्या तीसरी आंख है? Yes, indeed, it is an endocrine gland called pineal gland, which is located deep in your brain. It is present on the dorsal side of your brain. This is the dorsal side and this is the ventral side. When it comes to the body also, this part is ventral part, this part is dorsal part. Dorsal part, ventral part. Let's see the location of the pineal gland in our brain. This is the section of the brain. Here you can see the blue colored pineal gland. It is located in the diencephalon part of the forebrain. It is located deep in the brain and it is attached to the third ventricle through a fibrous stalk, and it is a very small gland measuring about 0.8 centimeter in length and weighs approximately 0.1 gram. Pineal gland is otherwise called epiphysis. Epiphysis cerebri or pineal body or pineal organ. I think you are familiar with the name pine. Since the gland or the organ resembles pine cone, pine tree is from gymnosperm family. Because of its resemblance to the gymnosperm pine cone, this is termed as pineal gland. And this gland is very vital to induce sleep. It stimulates sleep through its secretion, and it secretes a chemical which has a say in inducing sleep. Sleep is very, very vital to life. नींद आपके लिए बहुत ज़रूरी होती है. Why? Sleep restores your energy levels. If you don't sleep, if you don't have adequate sleep, you feel lethargic, you feel fatigued, you feel cranky throughout the day. And sleep maintains energy levels. So it is necessary to restore energy levels. And it promotes growth. It repairs your tissues. It helps in maintaining ideal body weight. It strengthens your immunity. And it keeps you alert. Very important function. I think now you get the significance of sleep. And you sleep and wake up as per time. And this time is calibrated as per the sun time. आप सुबह जागते हो, breakfast करते हो, you have school time, you have lunch time, you have play time, you come back home, you have mobile time, and all these activities are time dependent. And जैसे ही इस घड़ी में टाइम होता है, जैसे ही आप इस घड़ी के मुताबिक चलते हो, हमारी बॉडी में भी एक घड़ी फिक्स्ड है. It's a primitive clock which is situated in the brain, and we work according to this clock. How our cells get to know whether it is day and night, how your body gets signals to sleep and remain awake, or to eat, or to mate. This is possible because of an internal clock situated in our brain, and this clock is very, very primitive clock, and this is called the biological clock. So how this biological clock works with the help of the secretion from the pineal gland, let us try to understand. As I said, pineal gland through its hormone called melatonin induces sleep or stimulates sleep. Melatonin is an amino acid hormone. In our previous class, we have discussed about different types of hormones and the nature of the hormone. Some hormones are derived from amino acids, some hormones are derived from cholesterol molecule-like structures, steroid hormones, and some molecules are derived from peptides, and this hormone melatonin is derived from an amino acid called tryptophan. And this is an amino acid derived hormone, and this puts you to sleep. And what is the mechanism? Let's try to understand this. Pineal gland is very important in maintaining a very vital process called circadian rhythm. What is this? In 2017, Nobel Prize was awarded for deciphering the molecular mechanisms of circadian rhythm. What is this circadian rhythm? We wake up in the morning, we go to work, we eat, we indulge in different types of activities. In the evening, we feel tired, we go to sleep, and we go to bed only to wake up next day in the morning. So there is a regular pattern of activities in 24-hour cycle which can be attributed to your physical, mental and behavioral changes in a span of 24 hours. And this is called circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm, it's around a day. Around a day. All plants and animals, all vertebrate animals do follow circadian rhythms. They have an alternate period of activity and rest. Activity and rest. And this is what we call circadian rhythm. In the night, you sleep, your body gets rest, you wake up in the morning, you work, and again that will alternate with sleep. Activity, rest. Activity and rest over a period of 24 hours in a day. And this is what we call circadian rhythm, for which Nobel Prize was awarded in the year 2017. This circadian rhythm is otherwise called diurnal cycle or sleep-wake cycle. See, your eyes are photosensitive. Light falls on them, so you can sense whether it is day or night. But who tells your body cells that it is time to sleep and it is time to wake up? And this call is given by our pineal gland through circadian rhythms, and we will understand more about this. So how melatonin induces sleep, or how melatonin stimulates sleep? See, when there is light during daytime, when there is light falls on the retina, and through retina via optic nerve, the message is conveyed to our biological clock. We have a primitive biological clock, and this clock is located in hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is our gland. In our previous session, we have discussed about its location and its functions in great detail. So, hypothalamus has a region wherein our primitive biological clock is located. And all our cells work as per the inputs received via this biological clock. And what stimulates or what inhibits this biological clock? This is stimulated by external factors like sunlight, temperature and other cues from the environment. Mainly sunlight is the contributing factor. So in the presence of sunlight, the production of melatonin is inhibited. So production of melatonin is inhibited. So when this happens, the body gets into a state of alertness. The body becomes conscious and the body gets into a state of alertness. Our blood pressure increases, pulse rate increases, and the secretion of the melatonin slows down. So how darkness stimulates the production of melatonin? In the absence of sunlight, pineal gland gets stimulation via biological clock to produce melatonin, which induces sleep. So darkness promotes secretion of melatonin, which in turn makes you sleep. So basically, pineal gland is involved in sleep-wake cycle maintenance. And this is otherwise called diurnal cycle. It's a 24-hour cycle of rest and activity. And let's try to understand what exactly happens and how hypothalamus regulates this process. As I said, your biological clock is located in the hypothalamus, and there is a region called suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is beyond the scope of discussion at this level. You will discuss this in higher classes, but just I am giving you the bird's eye view of the entire process. So when light falls on the retina, the production of melatonin is inhibited. In the absence of light or in the presence of darkness, the impulse is travelled through optic nerve and the message goes to the biological clock, which is located here in the hypothalamus. There is a particular region called suprachiasmatic nucleus or SCN in the hypothalamus, which carries this signal to the brainstem via descending and ascending nerve tracts back to the pineal gland to secrete melatonin, and this melatonin induces sleep. So we have discussed in our previous sessions that hypothalamus is gland and it releases inhibiting and releasing factors to control other endocrine glands via pituitary. But here there is a separate endocrine loop which is operating. There is an endocrine loop. So hypothalamus is regulating pineal gland via this endocrine loop, not via its releasing factors or inhibiting factors as in the case of other hormones. So we are not going into the detailed aspects of the endocrine loop. If you understand how the message is conveyed to induce the production of melatonin, this is sufficient at this stage. Now, since you are aware of the concept of circadian rhythm, let's try to understand at what time of this 24-hour cycle how your body is responding. Okay, this is a 24-hour cycle. This is a circadian rhythm representation. This is a pictorial representation of circadian rhythm. So 24-hour cycle. This is midnight, 12 a.m. and at 2 a.m. you will have deepest sleep because at this time the melatonin level peaks up. In the night your melatonin levels are 10 times more than what they are during daytime. Okay, so at 2 a.m. you are in deep sleep because the melatonin levels are highest at this time. Then as it dawns, जैसे सुबह सुबह होती है, around 4:30 a.m. your body is at its lowest temperature. Okay, and then at around 7 o'clock the blood pressure shoots up. I said these are the mechanisms devised by your body to bring alertness in your body. Okay, so your blood pressure shoots up, your pulsatory activity goes up, your breathing rate increases, your body temperature increases. This is to bring about alertness in the body. Then at around 7:30 a.m. the melatonin secretion stops. And that's why late in the morning you feel alert. You are at your cognitive best. आपको जो भी काम करना होता है आप सुबह में बहुत अच्छे तरीके से कर सकते हो क्योंकि मेलाटोनिन का सिक्रीशन 7:30 बजे के करीब स्टॉप हो जाता है और अराउंड 10:30 और 11 यू आर वेरी वेरी एक्टिव. सो दिस इज द बेस्ट टाइम टू डू योर वर्क. एंड देन at around 2:30 you can coordinate very well. Again at 3 o'clock you feel little sleepy. 3 to 4 you feel little sleepy. That's why it is advisable to take a nap of 10 minutes or 15 minutes so that you become very active again. And then again at 5 o'clock your muscle activity is at its peak. and then around 6:30 your blood pressure again shoots up and your body temperature increases at around 7 p.m. By 9 p.m. melatonin secretion starts because already dusk has set in. The dusk has set in, evening has set in, so there is darkness, there is no light, so the melatonin secretion starts. Ideally it starts by 9 p.m. and again by 12 the secretion of the melatonin will be peaking and again it peaks at 2 a.m. in the midnight. And this cycle rotates, or this cycle, your body oscillates between these cycles now and then, and this is how your circadian rhythm works. So what are the functions of pineal gland? Pineal gland, as we know, it produces a hormone melatonin, and this melatonin maintains your sleep-wake cycle. Ideally, it tells you when to eat, when to sleep, when to wake up, and when to mate. So it takes care of sleeping, eating, and mating, the main function of the pineal gland. And it also maintains body's temperature. This is a main function of hypothalamus. In our previous class, we have discussed this. But this gland is so generous that it is contributing something towards the functions of other endocrine glands as well. And it affects metabolism. Metabolism is mainly taken care by thyroid gland. But this gland also has a share of its function in maintaining metabolism that we are not discussing. And it affects pigmentation. Pigmentation is basically taken care by melanocyte stimulating hormone, but this hormone also has a say in pigmentation. It affects menstrual cycle. This is very important role. Melatonin inhibits gonadotropins. It inhibits gonadotropins. So what happens when gonadotropins are inhibited? Till when the gonadotropins are inhibited? Till an individual reaches puberty. This condition is very important. Melatonin is inhibiting gonadotropins till an individual reaches the stage of puberty. So before reaching the age of puberty, gonads do not mature. And this principle is used even in animals which are seasonal breeders. In winter, they do not breed because in the winters the nights are long and in summer the nights are short. So when the nights are long in the winter, melatonin is high, melatonin concentration is high. So melatonin inhibits gonadotropins, so they don't breed in winter. Whereas in summer, when the nights are short, the melatonin concentration is less, so they breed during summer. And the same principle is applicable here. The inhibition of gonadotropins by melatonin in seasonal breeders. So this is a very important role of melatonin on seasonal breeding. Then it also affects immunity. So this function is, the main function of the thymus gland is to affect immunity, but to some extent even pineal gland takes care of this function. Okay, so now since you have understood the importance of sleep in your life, you need to get some insights or inputs to maintain sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene is very, very vital to well-being of an organism. Otherwise, you end up with diseases like diabetes, depression, insomnia, dementia, there is memory loss, weight gain. So there are simple tips for you to follow in order to get a good sleep. So have a regular sleeping and waking up time. So आपको रात में एक ही टाइम पे सोना पड़ेगा और दिन में एक ही टाइम पे उठना पड़ेगा. I mean, it's like you go to bed at 10 o'clock in the night and you get up at 5 o'clock. Every day you need to follow this routine. If you are changing this routine on weekends, सैटरडे है, संडे है, तो लेट सोएंगे 11 बजे, 12 बजे, 1 बजे, watch a movie and get up at 11 o'clock. This will not work because this will disrupt your biological clock. So you need to have, even on weekends or even during holidays, you need to have a particular bedtime and wake up time in order to maintain healthy lifestyle. Then have a light meal before sleeping. See, always you should eat 3.5 hours before you go to bed. Otherwise, all your energy will be channelized to digest the food. So you remain awake, your digestive system is working. So you need to take food at least 3.5 hours before you go to bed. And avoid coffee, tea, colas or alcohol before bedtime. Okay? Because coffee is diuretic. It makes you pee. It makes you run to the washroom frequently. So if you are running to washroom frequently, you will have a disturbed sleep. So avoid coffee. Even alcohol is diuretic. So it's better to avoid alcohol, coffee. And tea will stimulate your brain. So you feel awake. So it increases your alertness. So try to avoid these drinks before bedtime. And try to sleep in a cool and quiet environment, because the production of melatonin gets disrupted in the presence of light, in the presence of sound. So try to sleep in a quiet room. And make sure your pillow and bed is comfortable. Okay. And this is very, very important. This aspect is very, very important. Keep your mobile phones and all electronic gadgets that emit blue light away from your bed, because this light confuses your pineal gland. The pineal gland does not get signals or cues in the presence of light, artificial light, and the pineal gland feels that it is still it is under sun and it blocks the production of melatonin, so you feel alert. That's why if you are used to screen, or if you are using light and if you are studying till late in the night, your pineal gland gets disturbed and your biological clock goes out of whack. तो आपको इन तमाम गैजेट्स को बेड टाइम से पहले एटलीस्ट हाफ एन आवर टू 1 आवर अवॉइड करना चाहिए, वरना आपका पीनियल ग्लैंड मेलाटोनिन प्रोड्यूस नहीं करेगा. जो भी लाइट आपकी आंखों से अंदर थ्रू ऑप्टिक नर्व जा रहा है, वो हाइपोथैलेमस को सिग्नल करता है कि still there is light, so melatonin production should be inhibited. So जब melatonin का production नहीं होता है तो you don't get sleep. So it's better to avoid all electronic gadgets at least 1 hour, half an hour to 1 hour before the bedtime. Okay, there's one more thing that I want to discuss with you. Nowadays, because of our lifestyle, people have sleep disorders, and doctors are prescribing melatonin tablets or medications to put people to sleep. But you cannot take melatonin hormone on a daily basis for a longer time, because when you take artificial supplements, your body senses that there is no need for it to produce. For a short duration, it's okay, but over a period of time, consumption of such hormones over a long period of time shuts down the production of melatonin by your pineal gland. So you need to consult your doctor before taking such hormones. And there is one more value addition that I want to add, one more point that I want to add. Blind people attaining, especially girls, attaining menarche very early. This is because of absence of melatonin in their body, because the retina becomes insensitive to light, so the melatonin concentration is imbalanced, because of which they attain menarche, they attain maturity or puberty at an early age. You can study all these, or you will get to know all these concepts in your higher grades. Yeah, let's solve one question. Which of the following hormones is secreted by the pineal gland? And the options are melanin, melatonin, insulin and epinephrine. Melanin, this is a pigment. It is a pigment, it is not a hormone. So this option is ruled out. Okay. Insulin has a say in glucose metabolism. So this is secreted by pancreas. So this option is ruled out. So epinephrine is produced when you are either frightened or when you are about to fight or when you are about to run away from a situation. And this is a hormone from adrenal gland. So even this option is ruled out. So melatonin is the right option. And pineal gland produces a hormone which is vital to put you to sleep. And this hormone is melatonin. So overall, pineal gland is very crucial in maintaining sleep-wake cycle via its hormone melatonin. And it has other secondary functions about which we discussed just now, like maintaining immunity, maintaining body temperature, and has a role in metabolism. So these are the secondary functions. Let's solve one more question, and this is an assignment for you. We'll discuss this in our next session. So melatonin secretion peaks at what time of the diurnal cycle? So you can solve this question, and in the next class, in the next session, we can discuss this question. We do have another endocrine gland that literally affects all the cells in your body. Do you want to know which gland is that? Then stay tuned. We'll discuss that in our next class. Thank you.
Keep imbibing. We believe in you.